Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Moscow, and welcome to a new interesting video. I'm going to get right into it, and we're going to go for a really interesting tour. Let's go. I think most of you have realized what I'm going to be making the video about. It's not going to be an apartment tour, not a supermarket tour. It's actually going to be a school tour. And where I am here is called the Konkovo region of Moscow. It's considered in the southwest of Moscow, or in the south of Moscow if you come directly from the city. This very much is a typical district of Moscow. Lots of green spaces, lots of apartment buildings, both new and old. And what we want to go and do, what we want to go and see, is right behind this fence right here. We want to go and see one of Russia's newest schools. Now, it's open for the public for a few days. We're actually here at school number 17. Now, it is actually a gated public school. They've got it open today. Now, if the kids were going to come to school, they'd actually tap the card right here to go in. There is also a call button if you probably forgot it. And at the moment, for at least a couple of days, they've got a program where you can register as a resident and come and see a newly renovated school. Now, this particular school right here dates back to the 1970s. However, in the last 12 months, it's undergone a very big renovation. And on September 1st, 2025, it'll open for the first time in over a year under this new renovation program that they've got in Russia, and in particular in Moscow, where I am here. What's really interesting is on September 1st, the local administration of Moscow will open 51 schools under this renovation program. They like to use that word a lot in quite a lot of things. And I decided to register and come for a mini tour of the school. Now, where we are here is the school grounds. So the actual school itself was already here existing, and of course the territory with all the trees and things like that were here. And then there was an old playground here which has been completely remodeled, going back a year ago now, and there's already kids playing there. And I think this might be interesting to come and see a Russian school and what they look like now, or what they look like before today. Of course, this isn't the local school where I live. This is around about an hour from where I physically live, and I took a train here, and then I took a metro here. However, about a 10-minute walk from my house, we have a school exactly like this. Fairly well, all of the schools across the whole Russian Federation were built to the same standards, so that it gives all the students equal access to education. And this being a public school, also it's completely free for the students to come to this school and attend this school. And out-of-pocket expenses would only be things like stationery and maybe your school bag, but everything else is provided as part of attending public school in Russia. If you are wondering who I am and how it is that I'm an Australian living here in the Moscow region, I created this YouTube channel. I live here with my Russian wife. We live about an hour away from here. And I make a lot of videos about typical everyday things here in Russia. And coming to one of the local schools, I think, would make an interesting video. My local school where I live, I've actually been there a few times and met the classes that learn English. And they've had me come and do some question and answers with them and interact with them, because it's always unique for them to meet native English-speaking people as part of their curriculum. And I hope this video is interesting. I'm of course coming on a guided tour, which is part of the Moscow Education Department program that they've done to allow people to come to these open days. Most of the people that are coming here are generally parents or past students or people who live or have moved to this area that might want to bring their kids to this particular school rather than another one nearby. Schools are in abundance in Russia, and most districts have a kindergarten, middle school, high school, and perhaps generally the kids that go to the schools like the one behind me live in this immediate area. So they've lived here, grown up here, gone to school here, and then even the parents perhaps might have gone to this school, depending on their age of course, or have grown up in this area as well. So it's a bit of an insight for them to come and see what the school is like now and how it's been modernized, and even I'm curious as well. The tour itself will take in some of the common areas of this school. We won't see the whole school, I was already well aware of that. It's just a general walkthrough and to see some of the new facilities. They have got some things that they're still finishing off, which you don't really notice, but there is some workers still here doing some final fixings and last minute things. The whole outside territory here is done and dusted. So whoever did all of this has done an amazing job. There is basketball court, there is football fields, there's also playground equipment. So the actual school itself is basically from primary school to high school. And depending on how you call that, middle school, senior school, high school, it's a bit of a mix. The school itself has approximately 640 students across all ages. What I really like, or I find really interesting, now this is of course summer holidays in Russia, and the kids are already here playing football. Now the actual school territory itself, although it's gated, is open to the public. It was mentioned on the doorway there. I believe it was 7 or 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. So people who live in the local area, and of course a lot of the students, can use all of the playground areas all the time. And then I would imagine at 9:59, security come and escort them all out, and by that time they should be going home anyway to get ready for school the next day. Oh, look at the apartment building there and the view you've got over this territory. So there's lots of kids playing on all the new playground equipment. There is a running track here. So lots of place for the kids to enjoy the outdoor area. Of course, we're in the summer, autumn period here in Moscow now, so the weather is beautiful, of course. But come winter time, it will be a whole different place. I wonder if they modify this and it becomes an ice rink. They generally put boards up and then the middle surface freezes over. So I'm not sure if they do that or not. And this is where we want to go. Now I do get a lot of comments about my videos being long. So I guess if you're looking at the time stamp of the video, you can determine if you want to sit through it or not. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically walk in, join the tour, have a walk around, and show what I can show based on what they're letting us see. Now, I understand the tour itself physically without a camera is around about 20 minutes or about 30 minutes, depending on people asking questions, of course. And what do you think so far? This territory is super nice. And I'm sure the kids and the parents are very happy by the fact that they've got new playgrounds and this football pitch is getting more than enough use. I'm wondering, for anybody who lives somewhere else in the world, have you got kids who want to come and play in the playgrounds at school during summertime? Actually, I can see on the signboard there, it's open from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. the playground area. Like I said at the start of the video, this is school number 17. So all of the schools in Russia are allocated a number. They're not necessarily named after a place or a person. You will get that in universities or colleges, but the schools are just numbered. Simple as that. There is people coming and going. So there is all-day tours. Now, you actually had to register on a website, which is very straightforward. It's mostly just to get an idea of the number of people attending. You can see there the flag of the Russian Federation. And I think the other one might be the regional flag for the administration as well. And of course, because it's a grand opening, they've got the balloons right out the front. I've always said this is the richest man in Russia, the person who sells these for grand opening of businesses. So all that's left to do is head on inside and then find my tour guide and get them to check my pass or ticket, I think, that they've created for us to come there. And then we'll be off on our tour. So very simple. Let's head on inside. Coming inside, I think a lot of things are very normal and very typical in the entranceway here. So there is metal detectors, just like you would see in a lot of schools nowadays, no matter where you are in the world. There is actually a security office right here, and the whole territory inside and outside the school has cameras, so it's all monitored. And then if you're coming here and as a visitor, there would be a check-in desk as well here. Now, to gain entry into the school, there is a turnstile system right here, and then the kids and the teachers would actually have a pass that they'd tap here. It would open the gate and you'd go on inside. And only people that have the accreditation can go in. And then, of course, being that it's not open today, the gates are open and off we go. So the actual school itself is split over 3 levels, and it's a H layout. So the main building with rooms on the left and right, there's a middle walkway, and then the classrooms at the back. And then all of the classrooms are then split over 3 levels. Now, we won't get to see all of them. However, at least quite a few of the common classrooms we'll get to visit. So it'll be interesting to see what we can find out. Coming inside, I will get to see, hopefully, as many classrooms as possible. So the actual layout of the school is like a letter H. So one side of the building runs from left to right just here. And then there's a common walkway across to the opposite side of the building. Now, when the kids come to school, this is quite unique, I think, perhaps to Russia or to a lot of cold climate countries. The kids actually have 2 pairs of shoes. So they'll have shoes that they'll come to school in. So particularly for winter, they'd have wet weather shoes or shoes suitable for snow and ice. Then when they come to the classroom or come to the school, they then use these boxes and switch shoes to inside shoes. So something more like just a basic running shoe or trainers. Now, the actual hooks aren't put up yet, but they would hang their jackets right here, and you can put some things on the seats underneath. So there's actually 4 of these depending on the age group of the children. And if they actually have sports classes, they'd even have a 3rd pair of shoes. So I'm curious if that's something you've heard of before. Do the kids that you have that go to school have to change their shoes when they enter the school grounds. As I'm walking around, I'm going to try and point out some of the different types of classrooms that they have. And they've all got different room numbers on, and then they do have a description about what the classrooms are. However, this one is a general purpose classroom, and actually it's a really nice space here. They've got the large screen TVs, storage, the teacher's desk. I think this is not very much uncommon from anywhere around the world. They've actually got the boxes in the back if they need to put some of their things when the kids come into class, somewhere to wash their hands. Hygiene is paramount in Russian schools. As part of the tour, we actually do get to get the full experience, and it is super nice that the guides are showing us everything, and we can even see the toilets. Now, there is quite a few of these spread out over the building, so this is not the only one, but I think very standard design and layout, toilet, sink, everything you need. Walking around a little bit more. So as you walk around the different wings of the school, they've got breakout areas, and essentially, particularly in winter time, the kids aren't going to be outside, and then they'd come in for the classes, so they'd actually gather inside. Water fountain, some comfy chairs. So these chairs here, actually you can't see it, but behind this paneling is actually central heating. So in wintertime, it'll be nice and toasty warm here. There is a few more classrooms here, and they've got the lights on and off depending on the classrooms. These particular ones are set up for younger kids, more like primary school age, so the tables and chairs are a little bit smaller and a little bit lower. And if I was really excited, I could attend a talk about the school as well. But I was really more interested in coming to do a general tour and walk around. Coming up to the second level, they actually have some slightly smaller classrooms here, and these are actually split classrooms. And this particular one has the facility to do language lessons. So the kids can come and learn languages, particularly English, and then depending on the school, the staff here said that they teach Chinese, or I think it would be Mandarin, and then also Korean, which is super interesting. This is actually a split classroom as well, so they can combine two classrooms together with this partition wall, and if they want to do smaller classroom teaching, it's obviously more manageable when you're doing language classes to have less students, because the teacher can pay more attention to the kids. With this school being fully renovated, there is some improvements and some upgrades, and one thing that they had added here was lockers or storage cubicles, and they've got combination locks, so you can put your number in. They're not allocated, so you just take one that's free, and then you can leave your stuff overnight if you want to, and you don't have to carry everything to and from school every day. Coming in the classroom, one thing I will say is there's a lot of light coming in. Up on this second level, they've got the blinds down, but they're so bright and fresh, the classrooms. And I'm right here at the front here, where the teacher would sit. And this is actually one of the biology classrooms. They've got these different toolkits and then the microscopes. Very nice, really and truly. It's so refreshing to come into a brand new school and have a look at a little bit behind the scenes. As I'm walking around, there is quite a few different classrooms that we're coming across, and we won't see every room in the school because a lot of it's duplicated and there's multiple rooms doing the same things. But this is one of the technology classrooms, and there's different things that they do here, but I was trying to figure it out because they've got like toolkits here and things like drill presses. So if you can let me know if you're from Russia, what you would do in a technology class. It will be very helpful. The one thing that is super nice is these large screen TVs. They've took away the need for the chalkboard, and it's becoming much more technological generally. Basically, the tour that I'm on is with some guides, and actually the people that are doing the tour are teachers here at the school, and we're going to a lot of the kind of important parts of the school, or at least pointing them out. So where we saw the cloakroom on the other side of the door, they've got a second one on this side. This is a little bit bigger. So they're actually allocated to the different age groups of the kids. So it's not mixed amongst all the students. And the same thing again, they've got the boxes there for the shoes. These also have central heating inside as well. Now in summer we don't need it, but definitely in winter it's a necessity. This is a very cool classroom. This is actually one of the media rooms. Now, depending on the classes, this can be used as a classroom and used for media studies, or they can have it as a general use room. And you can see here the bookshelves, and then if the teacher wants to come down here to do something a little bit differently. And check these things out. They've actually got study pods and quiet rooms, I think you would call them. So you can go in there and do studying, or if you want to do your homework early. But how nice is this? Nice comfy chairs and some bean bags over there. Now, it's about a week before school opens, so not everything is set up. However, it won't take very long to do this. And then back here is actually a library space. And this will be filled with books and literature. And the kids can actually come here and borrow books and return books and use them just literally here for reading. And how nice is this space? I don't ever remember these in Australia, these study pods, where you could go in there and be in silence. Of course, in normal classroom times and even on the recess times, everybody's chatting and talking. And it's so nice that you could be able to come in here and have a bit of quiet. One of the interesting places to come and see is the school cafeteria. Now, the kids that come here are in different age groups and different classes, and the whole school doesn't have the lunch break at the same time, or afternoon recess, as we'd call it in Australia. So they're actually split up into times. So then naturally there's not too many kids in here at the same time. Very nice table and chairs. Cutlery would be on the table. And of course, kids can bring their own food from home and also eat here. And depending on the kids that are enrolled in the school, there would be a couple of options of how you're served food. So there'd be a breakfast option and a lunch option. And they would have this obviously set up for service right here. And then there is also the option to actually purchase food as well. And fruit, sandwiches, pastries, and there is some drinks, I think, in the fridge as well. All healthy options. And also the kids can get tea, hot tea. And it really depends on the parents or the way the kids are enrolled. Will depend on the food and menu that they get. So I'm really curious for everybody watching, when you were going to primary school or middle school or high school, was your cafeteria like this? Was there the counter there where you can get food? And what did you have to eat for your lunch? Let me know in the comments. Now, I'm very fortunate to be actually joined here by one of the teachers here at the school. Now, let everybody know your name.
My name is Max, but students usually call me Maxim Denisovich.
Okay, so do the kids address you by your last name or?
By my first and middle name.
Okay, so like the full name. That's really interesting. So, and where are you from in Russia?
I'm from Konkovo.
Okay, so you were born in this region?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I was born in Turkey.
In Turkey?
Yes.
Wow.
But my family came here like 23 years ago.
Wow. Okay,
And we settled here.
And obviously, do you know multiple languages then?
Of course. As you can guess, I know English. I know Russian. A little bit of Turkish, but I'm not very sure in it.
But does your family speak it at home and you have to speak back to them because of that?
No, unfortunately. I really want to learn Turkish.
Wow. Okay. And so you're a teacher here at this school?
Yes, absolutely.
And what's your classes that you do?
Of course, English.
Okay. Oh, so you're one of the English teachers here?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Also, I'm the head of the organizer of events in my school.
Oh, okay. So for the students or
for students, not for teachers, only for students.
Okay, like for excursions or for...
Excursions, concerts, some events, festivals.
Wow. Well, that's super interesting. And are the kids, are they interested to learn English, or is it like another class for them?
You can like split the class in two. The first half really likes to do something, they really adore my teaching style, and the other...
Right. I think that's in all classes, no matter which is
everybody's situation.
Whichever the subject is. Now, this particular school was part of the renovation program, and it'll open on September 1st. And I understand it was closed for a year.
For a year.
And you were teaching at another school nearby?
Yes, just across the road.
Oh, that was handy for you then. And are you happy? Are you excited?
Of course, because like everything new is very like amazing, because you have to get used to it again and to fall in love in it again. Right,
because now you need to bring back a little bit of the homeliness to the school, some pictures on the wall, some artworks.
Posters, works of the children, everything.
Yeah, so are you nervous for September 1st?
A little bit. I have a new class, so...
Oh, okay. And I understand on that day it's quite unique in Russia because the kids dress up. They wear like a uniform that day.
Sort of a uniform, yes.
And then also they bring flowers.
Bring flowers.
So do the male teachers get flowers as well, or?
You will be shocked, but yes.
Okay, so, and also maybe chocolates or just?
Something like chocolates, notebooks.
Labubus, chebarashkas.
Maybe, this year maybe.
Now, how many years have you been a teacher? You look very young.
I have been a teacher for 4 years.
4 years. And are you enjoying it so far?
So far, yes.
And of course, you were allocated to this school because of the fact you live in this area, or is that?
Because I went to look for a job. I got into the school because I had some old connections.
Okay, all right. And so when you're going through university to be a teacher, it may not be automatically that you're in the area where you live. You may get sent to another region.
Yes, absolutely.
And you just have to
get lucky.
Get lucky. So you're very happy that you're literally in the same area, same building, same region. And
this is a jackpot for me.
So what's the most interesting you're looking forward to starting September 1st?
I'm looking forward to new foreign language classes because I can't like believe what can I do there, what possibilities are there.
And of course, you've also had quite a few weeks off school.
56 days.
56 days of, I guess, summer holidays. And then now,
just like the kids.
wow, and now you're here a few days early, of course, before.
To prepare.
It's about another week or so, I think.
Yes.
And are you enjoying doing the tours?
Well, yes, it's great to understand what is happening to our school. It is great to tell other people what is happening at our school.
And then, so this is school number 17.
17.
Is there rivalry with school 18 or school 16?
With school 117.
117. Okay, so, and there's a rivalry, or is it?
It's a friendly rivalry.
Friendly, like sporting-wise.
Sports competition.
Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you.
Also helping and hosting the walk around at the school here. It was really amazing, and if everybody wants to give a little bit of love in the comments, or post something nice.
This would be lovely.
I will put the social media link in the description of the video for the school, so if anybody has Telegram, there, I think...
Subscribe.
You can join the school on Telegram specifically, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
As I head on out of school number 17 and slowly make my way up the path to the gate, I firstly want to say a huge thank you to Maxim. I was fortunate that he was my guide for my excursion, along with a couple of other teachers. So the actual excursions are ongoing from 2 p.m. till, I'm not sure, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. And when I got here, it was actually very quiet. And it was just myself on the tour and a couple of actual extra teachers, I think because I was speaking in English. And actually, as I'm leaving now, it seems to be a lot more people coming. I think because a lot of people, this is a working day in Moscow, so a lot of people have finished work and they're coming now to do the later tours. So what an amazing guy, really and truly. It was a little bit echoey because we're in the lobby area where they've got the backdrop for photos and videos, but such a nice guy, really. And I literally turned up here and just asked about going on the excursion, and then mentioned that I wanted to film a video at the same time. And basically, one of the teachers is explaining each of the rooms as we walked around, and then Max was interpreting a little bit what she was telling in Russian to English. Of course, I think even without the explanation, you can figure out the different rooms. The only room we didn't get to see was the gymnasium, and that's still been worked on. There is a couple of rooms that are not completely finished. So also the metalwork room, woodwork room, okay, gymnasium, and then also what was the other one? Okay, so there is another room that's for sewing and cooking, which is also a very popular pastime as part of the Russian education program, where you actually learn life skills. So the actual tours are based on showing the finished parts of the school, not necessarily all the unfinished parts, although it's only about another week away. Was really interesting to see. Now, of course, this is a newly renovated school, and it's not very simple to come and film a video at a school. They do have open days like this. The administration of Moscow and of the Russian Federation generally are very open to these sorts of things. Whenever they've got new schools, new hospitals that open, they invite the general public to come and see where all of our tax dollars go to as part of this program. Now, they're going to open 51 schools at the same time, and Max was telling me when we weren't filming that they are doing this continuously year after year, and they of course want to fix all the schools in Russia up to the highest standard. But of course there is thousands of schools, and it's not as simple as that, and I think that's the same for anywhere in the world. I think no matter where you live, there'll be different levels of the quality of the school based on when it was built or when it might have been renovated. So very, very interesting, and I hope, although it's a lot of me talking, I hope it was an interesting video. This is a really nice area where I'm walking here. Very leafy, that's what I like to call it, particularly in summertime and autumn time now. Everything is green and very nice. You can hear kids in the background. You can see mums with prams, and just a nice place to come for a walk. And if you get to live in this area, it would be even nicer. I did actually want to spend the last couple of minutes of the video walking across the road to one of the parks. And as I was just walking now, I went past a magnet and I got myself a Finland hot dog. So if anybody knows why the Finland ones are different, I'm very curious. They're very big. And for only 99 rubles. So I'm going to take you across the road to the park and then we'll reach the end of the video. So if you're still watching to this point, write in the comment hot dog. I didn't have to walk very far from the school. You can actually see it just behind the trees and the fence right there. And this is what I want to show you. The lake here, or pond. Now it is later in the afternoon, so the sun is approaching sunset time. However, check this out. So part of the Summer in Moscow program, they've got, I think, is it judo or maybe karate? I'm not sure. And they've got kids here doing lessons in the park. This is really cool. Now I knew about the pond and how nice it is, but I didn't know that they've got this, I guess, judo lessons. If someone can tell the difference, let me know in the comments. And there's of course some teachers right there and a little bit of music to get us all inspired. And this really nice setting here with this raft. Now the music is a little bit loud, but how is the view? So this is Konkovo Creek. I think I'm getting the word or the name of it right. If somebody watching the video lives in this region of Moscow, please let me know because it is super cool. And there's actually some older people doing the classes right through to little kids. They're a bit distracted when I've got the camera in my hand. But this whole park area here is pretty neat. They've got some gym equipment. They've got some events for the Summer in Moscow program. So some chess. It's actually a whole map as well, dedicated to the different points where you can do some different sporting activities. But this is something else. I was just hoping to see a beautiful pond, but not all the people out here enjoying the afternoon. Of course, you can go for a nice walk around the perimeter of the lake, pond, is that what we call it? There's even some people fishing on the other side. But how nice would the view be from those apartment windows looking down here? This would be really neat. And of course, the kids want to get as close as possible to the edge. But there's table tennis set up, and then lots of different gym equipment as well. So this would be here year round, all of this sort of stuff. But I think the classes will be here just temporarily. You can even feed the ducks. What a spot. So imagine if you went to school right here, and generally people will live in these immediate apartment buildings. This is where you can spend your youth, down here at the park. They decided to use my outline for people who want to take photos. I'm sure they didn't ask me ahead of time. There's even beach volleyball here check this out. Somewhere you can do some outdoor training as well. Boxing. Check out the beach volleyball. This is proper cool. How neat is this? So this is all, I think, part of the Summer in Moscow program. So I think there's sign-ups for this, and people are obviously meeting at dedicated times. But very, very cool. Okay, I'm at the end of the video now, and if you've really reached the end of the video, that's pretty cool. Seeing volleyball and judo, and I was actually chatting to one of the guys there at the volleyball. It is actually part of the Summer in Moscow program where they've got different events. It's not always in the center of Moscow, everything that they schedule. They do it in a lot of the Moscow regional areas where they've got parks and facilities. And the gentleman was actually involved with organizing the volleyball. And then I think he called it petanque. There was also a petanque tournament here as well, which I think is quite similar to bocce, if you know that sport. So I came for one thing and I've ended up for another thing, and I think now the video is way too long. But this pond behind me here is absolutely beautiful. Now where I live, no pond, nothing fancy. We've got actually a forest area where I can walk, but nothing like this. Thanks everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the walk around of the Russian school, which is just across the street right here now. I'm gonna go find a bus to get me at least halfway home, and then perhaps a train, I think, from there. Let's see. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and post a comment. And I apologize again for how long the video is. If you've got to the very end, thank you so much. My Telegram channel is right here. If you want to watch or want to follow me, I will post some photos from today on there, as I always do. And then an old video on the channel will come up right here, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.